Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with this week's vlog. Today, I am showing you in my Zoom background, and not a picture that I took, but of a place that I do enjoy to visit once in a while. It is Falling Water, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and completed in the 1930s. It's located in my backyard in the Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania, where I got the background from. It's been a World Heritage Site, but I'm going to be processing these as I go through with the Zoom background. So I hope you enjoy them as we go along. With that being said, welcome to my vlog today. As you know, we've had Hurricane Ida pass by this past week. It's put a lot of people on edge. It's disheltered some. I'm sure it's been a wreck for many, but specifically for the autism community, it's been a struggle with the point of making sure that our behaviors are tamed, and more of what we feel is the reason why we feel the way with autism. And how we always have an anxious demeanor during storms. Because of that, storms make us feel like we're stuck inside a trap, like a house, such as my house. I feel like I'm sometimes stuck in a trap, and there's an increase because of low pressure. There's an increase in impulsivity. So we want to be angry or mad because the world is mad, and the environment around us is mad. It's not a it's a known fact. I looked up some research on it. It's the truth. The impeding storms are always a thing about bringing on the tension, and it can be with the change of the seasons too. Having a change of season can make people feel different mentally or physically as well. So those are things to keep in mind. But specifically, this week was hard for me, and it's been a rough week. And finally, it seems like a little better out of it. We've had a very busy week. I had worked from home on Monday, and then Tuesday we had started to know that Hurricane Ida with the remnants of Hurricane Ida was making its way into my region of the United States. And so there was a lot of news hype about it. That was the news, I think, feels that they don't want any litigation against them for not proper warning, proper notification. Same comes from the weather entities, which I have no blame for, but they have to do their part too, and they are a credible source. But with all this media and all this platforms to socially engage with news media, it makes it more tense, and it can be more of a thing. And as such, I realized this week that I had to change news stations because of the hype of one. And it was well-known hype in our region. And I knew I couldn't be I didn't know, I had to cut ties with it after listening to it all my life, because all I noticed was it was hype, 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 and, all about certain things, and all about, hype, hype, hype. And that hype is what it'll gear up our anxieties and make us more, more in touch with our senses, and make us more pace around, make us more nervous. So, that was kind of the thing. Another thing that was a big factor was that in my neighborhood, well, not directly in my neighborhood, but in the adjoining neighborhood, 5 years ago, we experienced a flood from 5 inches of rain. And on a swift Sunday night, that paralyzed the lower part of our neighborhood. I wasn't here at the time, but later moved in last year. So yeah, it was my first real significant rain event that, and for the city too, that it was, a very challenging thing. And so they were over preparing, because they had got these forecasts from the National Weather Service that it was going to be a 16-foot crest on the river, and that it would back up into the creeks into my neighborhood. So it was a very hype thing. Even the local news media, which I sometimes, find refuge in every day by reading a newspaper, was inundated with preparations for the storms, and what they were doing, and just, and the local social media was filled with that as well. So it was just a lot of hype and a lot of over prepared nation, which I guess you can over prepare. It's better that you prepare and put all that stuff together and then not be prepared like they were 5 years ago. But it does create a lot of heightened anxiety for me because I'm reading all this, I'm immersing myself in all this knowledge, and then I just want to feel for more and more and more. And it does get, you know, such that, and it became obsessive with me. It did. It really became up to a point where it was very obsessive, and I tried to sleep and I wouldn't, so I came back up, and so I woke up, like I slept like 3 hours that night, and I woke up the next day, and I just immediately went to my blog and started updating pages where I had emergency preparedness, and I will include those in the description in my video, about which ones I updated with all the emergency information, tips to help, things like that. So I really, and more information for each state of the United States where they could go for disability helps and things like that. So I was really obsessed in this, and it became morning, and so I had to decide, well, I got to go to work because I'm up now. Might as well stay up some more. So I go to work and I work through my shift and I get through it, but I'm watching the screens. I have like 4 screens on my computer at work. I'm watching the storm and my work. I'm doing my work. So I'm multitask. So give or take, the, we were lucky here. We didn't have as bad as storms as they predicted. And so the warnings were allowed to expire in the afternoon when I came home. And so it was pretty calm. And I said, I'm gonna take a nap. And the next thing I know, I wake up at 9:30 to my father banging on my um, apartment door because I had not answered anybody, and I was irritable from the weather, and I said some things, that was not cohesive. So they were worried about me, and so I said I'm fine, and I called them, checked in with my family, and I said I was okay, and then I fell asleep. So I got a full night's sleep and started over the next day. So that was the effect of not sleeping. It made me more interested, and I'd done all that updating, and I was just tired. I just want to you need to be prepared. I get you need to be prepared, and everybody should be prepared. Everybody should have a plan. Everybody should have a sensory bag, a sensory tent, things you need. As autistic people, we won't do well in emergencies. It's a given, and I had that constant panic all night. And as a matter of fact, I did sleep with clothes on because I was afraid of having to leave my home suddenly. So those are just some things that that was bothering me. But if that ever needs, I would encourage anybody to please, try to pack some things in a kit if you feel a storm is coming, if you feel, you're in those weather disasters, evacuation orders, pack a bag, pack a sensory bag with everything that you think your autistic person or you as an autistic need to be sensibly calm when you're out, if you have to leave. I would say include plenty of chargers if you can, plenty of those USB chargers, and every sensory toy that you can think of, every sensory need that you may have, because if in the event of an emergency, you won't be able to go back. You only get one time to go in and get what you need. You only get to pack what you leave, but once you leave, you can't go back. So I'm not trying to stir panic, but that's just how it is. And I learned that from media. But you need to be prepared, if you in those times, and have that sensory bag ready, because if you do have to go somewhere to a shelter or somewhat, you're going to have to be prepared to be able to calm yourself down, and that may even mean putting a little pup tent or something, in the shelter, so that you or the autistic person can be able to stem and able to desensitize if necessary. So that's just an important thing. And always, I don't know if there's social stories. There's many other resources I have included on my emergency preparedness section of my website, Dustin'sDynastyUSA.com, and I will include the link in the description of this video. But social stories, communicative keyboards, there's all kind of helps there. But if just make sure there should be social stories, those always do help. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you for listening to my vlog. I appreciate it. As always, you can, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay. Give it a thumbs down. I'll be okay with it. If you want to hear more content, tap that notification bell in the top corner. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty, Pinterest and TikTok at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. My website is dustinsdynastyusa.com, where I am streaming on many. My blog posts are podcasted on many platforms, including Spotify at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. I thank you for listening and have a good night.